From desktops to data centers, Intel has undergone an evolution. With drones, deals, and driverless cars, this tech titan is looking to the future. Is now the time to plug in, or could this tech shift fall short?
Can a tiger change its stripes? That's the big question with Intel, the semiconductor titan that's generally, and I think incorrectly, viewed as just a play on the personal computer. Lately, Intel's been trying to diversify into different end markets like the data center, the Internet of Things, and most recently, the autonomous driving business, thanks to its shrewd acquisition of Mobileye. The question is, can they grow these divisions fast enough to offset the sluggish PC business? Earlier today, we got a chance to check in with Brian Krzanich, the CEO of Intel. Take a look. Brian, few companies and few CEOs have committed to putting as much plant and equipment and as many people to work in America as you have. How much of it is because President Trump has expressed that interest and you're heeding the call? How much of it is just think it's patriotism? How much is it best workforce?
So it's probably a little bit of all of those. Okay. If you take a look at Intel's history, we've always manufactured the majority of our products here in the U.S. Still, to this day, 70% of what we manufacture is built right here in the U.S. The recent announcement we did back at the beginning of this year was really about where do we place our next big bet, big factory. And, you know, we were going back and forth, but certainly, you know, the push for tax and, you know, American jobs, it made sense to do it here in the U.S.
And if the government's policy were to change, we get repatriation, lower corporate tax rate, this would pretty much make it game, set, match. Couldn't it be not hundreds of thousands, but millions of jobs because of companies like yours and where they place people?
Yeah, I think, you know, you just look at the amount of cash overseas right now with companies, and, you know, they want to bring it back. I think we're all willing to pay tax. It's just we want to pay a fair amount of tax, and yes, we're going to go reinvest that money. And it's going to be reinvested in factories like we just announced. It's going to be in stock buyout. It's going to be in all kinds of applications. All of those will be job creating and wealth creating for the U.S.
Okay, let's talk about the new Intel, and I say that because people are still lagging behind. They're still saying as PCs go, so goes Intel. Stock's up 20%. Last quarter, people were saying data center wasn't growing that much, but no one's talking about your commitment that you've identified on our show several times, Internet of Things, driverless car. You made an acquisition that I think was a stake. The stake that said you are going to be the leader in driverless cars, which I think is the biggest single market in the world.
You bet. So first, the growth businesses. $30 billion of revenue this year from our growth businesses, growing double digits. So when you take a look at it, it's now, you know, approaching 50% of the revenue of the company, and it's more than 50% of our profit. So it is where the company is.
And that's a very big change because it was profits were lagging, not anymore.
So all of those are doing very well. But you're right, Mobileye was a big stake around autonomous vehicles, and those are going to be cars. I think, you know, within our lifetimes, it's going to be things that fly, all kinds of autonomous vehicle. And it was really taking a look at it and saying, just like we do in most of our markets, how do you deliver the most value and the most performance for our customer? And you do that by thinking not just as a CPU company, but you think about it as a complete platform, the complete car. And what we'll be able to do with Mobileye is really deliver what we believe is the best performance for autonomous vehicles.
Now, what makes it so special? Because somebody could look at it and say 600 people, $15 billion, intellectual property. Talk about the value of it.
Yeah, it's really all, you know, you always hear this term, artificial intelligence. You hear it, you hear it.
You're the first person who told me about it.
But it's all about the software and how that software interacts with the hardware, the CPU, what we make. And so what we're bringing together is what we believe, and we search the world high and low, the smartest people on this planet for making the software, the algorithms for how the cameras, the LiDARs, the radars see the world and identify this is a little girl crossing the street versus a stop sign versus a puppy versus a ball. That is the hard part of this task.
Now, at the same time you're spending $15 billion on that, you're still insuring your flank. You are not letting your core PC business go, but at the same time, you were more downbeat on it than others.
So you bet. This is the best time, I think, in history to go out and buy a PC or be in the PC business because the innovation is tremendous. You know, it's just that we do see that, you know, there are other places people are spending their dollars. So I can't come into you and say this is a revenue growth engine, but we've been able to grow profitability, and we've been driving innovation with our partners, Microsoft, HP, Dell, Lenovo. The products you're going to see over the next couple of years are going to just wow you, I think, and there's really no other reason to buy a computing device other than a PC.
Still great synergy between PC and the others, so you don't need to split it off and have a cash cow versus a fast grower now that you have Mobileye?
You bet. In fact, this year we're introducing products, laptops with Xeon class CPUs in them, so that you have basically a server in your lap. So if you're going to do those artificial intelligence algorithms, you can take your laptop off, write them right there, and actually do the testing.
In the 80s, Intel got out of DRAMs, it's commodities, and I know you do some flash, but DRAMs and flash have exploded in price. Is that just boom bust again, and it's not, I mean, other than the highest end flash, not something you want to play in?
Well, flash, like all memory, is still a cyclical market. It's a commodity.
And that's not what Intel's committed to.
Absolutely not. Right. So now why are we in this business? Okay. There are two reasons why we're in this business. One is on regular flash, we believe we have an architectural and a silicon differential, something that gives us a lower cost and a better performance. So if you take a look at it, 80% of the flash we sell goes right into the data center. Okay. There's a synergy, again, when you're thinking about the platform, it's tying that flash memory with the CPU, with the FPGA.
But you're not able to get that crazy price increase.
Well, we get paid very well. Okay. If you take a look at it, we had 55% growth in our flash business. Very good. Okay. There's another reason, though. You've heard about it. I've talked about it. 3D XPoint. We've labeled it Optane memory. It's a whole new class of memory that's a mix between DRAM and NAND. So it has the speed of DRAM, it has the non-volatility and the better cost of flash, and it's going to re-architect how memory is laid out on your PC. So I can put that memory into your PC and give you a 20% performance improvement just through the memory. That's huge. That's like a new CPU to you.
And I'm used to the Blue Men and Intel Inside, but you've got a new campaign with LeBron, who's been having an unbelievable series. How's that going?
That one's going good, and that I give credit to Steve Fund, our CMO. I mean, it's really showing Intel in a different light, right? And it's really all back to that, you know, how do we really take our compute models and push them into new markets, which we're doing quite a bit with sports now, and digitization of sports.
Have you talked to him? I mean, it's just LeBron being. I mean, it's obviously it's a very different campaign from the old days.
I mean, LeBron. Yes, I have spent time with LeBron, and the great thing about LeBron, great sense of humor, and just, you know, he's just a great person.
Will there come to be a championship that you might see down the road?
I hope so. You know, huge Warrior fan. Don't tell LeBron that, but.
Fair enough.
But you're going to see a lot of sports. You're going to see the PGA in virtual reality.
I think it makes sense. It's time to refresh.
Yes.
Right? And that's yours. Okay. Brian's refreshed this company, and I think what he's doing is made it so you have an inexpensive stock with a good yield that you're being paid for this next initiative, which I think is going to be the king of Internet of Things and autonomous cars, because it's the one that's most motivated to do it. That's Brian Krzanich. He's the CEO of Intel. Stick with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.